Right, let's have a look at some more handicappers to follow. First one here is Soka. You see it, got it upside down. Soka. This horse is a 6-year-old. He's unexposed over staying trips. Ran over 2 mile in 2010 once in the Brown Jack Handicap for Class 2 at Ascot off 89. He ran on well. Tried 2 mile again in August 2011. Was back from 14s into 7s. Poor ride by the jockey, but he ran on well. It was an amateurs event, finished second. Second again at Newbury, another amateurs race. And ran in a Class 3 at Newmarket 2 mile handicap, won by Go for Naples. Was held up at the back, moved up nicely, was beaten by a length and a half, sorry. Off his current mark, can pick up a nice staying handicap. He's one to follow over 2 mile, maybe 1 mile 6, 2 mile. Was one to follow over that distance. That's Soka. Next one we're going to have a look at, Dr. Zhivago. Won his first 2 races for Mark Johnson in Southwell on the all-weather. That was as a 3-year-old. And he ran in a top handicap at Newbury over 1 mile 2, won by Green Moon. He went on to an enlisted race. Monte Rosso was second, went on to win the King Edward at Royal Ascot, 4th in the Irish Derby, won at Maiden, and was 3rd in last year's Dubai World Cup behind Victoria Peso. He had 2 unplaced runs after that at 3 and started his 4-year-old career with David Nicholls. His best performances came on 1 mile 2 on soft ground. He was staying on well, and this horse has an eye knee action. The softer the ground, the better. He's moved now to Ian McInnes. It's probably best 1 mile 2, 1 mile 4 on a galloping track on soft heavy ground. Connections could run his handicap mark down a bit more and strike with him in the autumn. Soft ground's a must for this horse. Follow it, Dr. Zhivago. Next one we're going to have a look at is Bonnie Charlie. At 2, this horse was running in group races. Beating a neck by Finjar in the Richmond Stakes at Goodwood, Group 2. 3rd in a valuable sales race behind El Nawin, who's won at listed level, been placed at group level. And 2nd to Evasive in the 7th furlong Gordy Hill on soft ground. Evasive then went on to be 5th in the Guineas and 5th in the St James's Palace. Bonnie Charlie started off his 3-year-old career on 108. Did nothing at 3, nothing at 4. Placed run over 7. Came out as a 5-year-old. There's always a 4-year-old, sorry. As a 5-year-old, his first race was in the Palace House, Group 3, off a mark of 104. He was staying on nicely at the end. In that race, he had some top sprinters, Equiano, Soul Power. It was a top race and he was running on. His handicap marks run down since that. Went to David Nicholls. He only had 3 runs last season. His last one was at Pontefract off a mark of 80. Watch it on sportinglife.com. Check it out. This horse will win races. Now if he wants to get in the big handicaps, he's got to get up to at least 96. That's like he wants to get in the Wokingham, the Stewards Cup, the Air Gold Cup. So there could be two or three nice wins for this horse this year. She's a very, very, very well handicapped horse. Follow it. He's got most of his forms on soft. He's got one good run and good to firm in the Group 3 Palace House Stakes behind Equiano. And he's running on well. That was over 5 furlongs. A fast run 6 furlongs probably suits this horse with a bit of cut. Make sure you put Bonnie Charlie down in your notebooks. We're going to look at one of Henry Cecil's picture editor. When his first start as a 2-year-old, beating Nathaniel, and Genius Beast. Nathaniel, top class Group 1 3-year-old. Genius Beast won the Sandown Classic Trial. He won his next start as a 2-year-old by 14 length. Then running in Zetland, finished third, staying on. He might have been over the top by then. His first start at 3 was in the 7 furlong greenham as a pacemaker for Frankel. After that he ran in the Derby trial at Goodwood, finishing third to Mass Marble, who won the St Leger. Nambian was second, won the Gordon Stakes. He had 2 more starts after that, one over 10 furlong at Epsom, was staying on, and an handicap at Doncaster over 1 mile 4, staying on 5th. He starts this season off a mark in 99. This horse probably needs a good test of stamina. Could turn into a cup horse, an even horse. Given the right conditions, good fast staying race. He's well handicapped. That's picture editor. Next we're going to have a look at Totally Ours. This is a 5-year-old filly with Willie Moore. She's had 7 runs on the all-weather and she's won 3, 2 at Kempton, 7 furlongs, 8 furlongs, and 1 at Wolverhampton over 9 furlongs. In 2010, she had some top races. 7th in a listed race off 94 to Madeira over 10 furlongs. She was only beaten 7 lengths. Timepiece was 3rd. She's on a listed race at Baden, beaten 3 lengths off 89. 5th in a listed race at Salisbury off 89, beating 7 lengths. 3rd in a listed 10 furlong race at York to Nureo, beating 2.5 lengths off 89. She was staying on well in a good time. In 2011, she started off in a Group 3 over 1 mile 4 at Goodwood, won by Gertrude Bell, who was 4th in the Oaks the previous season. A couple of furlongs out, Totally Ours, looked like she was going to do some damage, but then she faded. She then ran a good race from a poor draw at Goodwood, over 1 mile 1 furlong. Then she went to the all-weather, Wolverhampton, over 9 furlongs, well backed, and won easy in a nice time. She ended the season with a couple of poor runs, and ran a decent race over 1 mile 2 at Kempton on the all-weather. Based on runs in listed company, this filly has a decent handicap on her for current mark. 1 mile 2, 1 mile 4, probably best held up off a fast pace. An handicap at Kempton somewhere, Wolverhampton, or maybe on turf. On a current mark now, she's well worth following. Watch out for Totally Ours. Next one we're going to look at is Man of God. A 4-year-old John Gosden. This is a big, strong, powerful goal. He had his first run in a maiden, won by Frankel. Nathaniel was second, Genius Beast was third. Next time out he went to Yarmouth, 1 mile on soft ground, and made the running. Forged ahead the final 100 yards and stayed on well, beating Parlour Games. He won 2 valuable staying handicaps last year. He was second to Prince Bishop in a listed race on the all-weather. He became disappointing last year, Man of God. He always seemed to travel well in his races, being held up, but never found anything. For me, he needs to be on the pace or aggressive front running tactics to show his best, probably on a galloping track. A bit of cut. Off his mark of 73, his horse is well handicapped. He's by Sadler's Wells out of a Darsham mare. He'll stay all day. Probably needs, like I said, needs to be on the pace or needs to make the running. One to follow, Man of God. Next one we're going to look at is Rassalas. He was disappointing last year, but he's running over the wrong trips. For me, this horse wants a mile plus. He's won over 6 on really soft ground at Ayr, won over a mile at Redcar, and was going away at the end. That was in 2010. Ran a fine race behind Navajo Chief at York, staying on again. Then over a mile at Newmarket behind Credit Swap, the Cambridgeshire winner, staying on again. No show last year, but all his runs was over 7 furlongs. It's by Daniel Dancer out of Darsham, 1 mile plus. He's unexposed at that trip. Could see improvement in this horse. Rassalas is another one to follow. Off his current mark of 69. He's by Navajo Chief. Off Credit Swap, he ran well off a mark of 83. He was 7th to Dance and Dance in a Class 3 off 84, running on. 4th to Amethyst Dawn, staying on. Cockney Class was in that race, just in front of him. He was 5th in a Group 3 and 5th in a listed. It was off 83. So this horse improves for going up in trip. He's seriously handicapped off 69. Rassalas.